Hello, it is me, Turkey. I'm gonna play this module right now. The sun is high in the sky, a merciless ball of heat. You feel scorched by the time you reach the bus halt in front of the Osborne's drugstore. It's relief to put down your heavy cases and take off your hat for a moment. You fan your face. It has been a long summer here in your hometown, and yet a curiously empty one. You look across the street at the grubby butcher's shop, the grocer's with its faded awning, and the shabby tobacconist. I love that word. Mistrustful faces glare at you as they pass, eyeing your clothes and luggage. It was your parents' choice to live here, not yours. You were happy down south as a child. Among Providence's white-walled houses and leafy churchyards. Perhaps this new job in Arkham will supply the change you need. Yet everybody you know in the world lives here. You know nobody. You know nobody in Arkham. Not one soul. You ask yourself one last time if you are doing the right thing. The answer is here. None of your supposed friends have come to see you off. You are alone. Whatever challenges lie in Arkham, it will be a new life and a brave one. A small gray motor coach approaches and rattles to a stop. You put your hat back on and pick up your cases. Two young men, with sullen expressions alight from the coach. One looks you up and down before heading away. The driver also steps down, glancing at you before crossing the road to visit the tobacconist. When he returns, he is rolling a cigarette between his yellowed fingers. He gives it a final twist and examines you as he reaches for his matchbox. He's a thin man in his 50s, dressed in a stained shirt with the bus company emblem. Yet his eyes are sharp in their dark sockets. Where to? I'm gonna start speaking in the first person for this, even though it's fucking saying you. I get why they do that, but I show him my ticket for Ossipee. From there, I will connect to Rochester and Portsmouth, before the coastal line to Newburyport, and finally Arkham. I should be able to afford a rail ticket for at least some of the way. Otherwise, this will be the first of many long bus trips. The driver scratches the match and lights a cigarette. The end flares as he takes a draw. Then he exhales and gestures to the back of the coach. Luggage racks up there. Okay. Now it says to do the standard array type deal for this, but I don't feel like doing that. I want to roll some dice. So that's what I'm going to do instead. Okay, I know what these are. Now let's get an idea for my character. So I'm just from elsewhere. And why have I left, honestly? Maybe I'll find out later. Maybe I have a bit of my past that I want to forget. I'm not sure if that will be cleared up later or if that's something that I should fill in. But I imagine that I guess I didn't like living there. Obviously, I had a rough childhood. My parents kind of sort of forced me to live there. I can relate to this, living in a small town, and then not really fitting in, and then wanting to get out and go to a bigger city. Although Arkham's not really that big. But just get out. Get away from everything. I think that's probably my motivation. So let's take a look at my character sheet. So let's roll. Now, allow me to get my book. Okay. I think I'm going to do the roll across the board technique. So that my character just kind of gets born out of the random stats here. I think that's just fun because I don't really have a concept. I'm just a guy. So I want to see like what are my natural gifts. Okay. So I got a 40 for strength. Yeah, that tracks. So not totally weak, but that's pretty below average. Constitution, also 40. Now size, I get a little bonus. Oof. Not good though. Okay. 50. Average sized. I'm looking like a little nerd right now. That's the vibe I'm getting. But we'll see if I'm even smart. Maybe I'm just across the board suck. We'll see. Dexterity. Okay. That's pretty good. Oops. 70. I'm pretty dexterous. Maybe I'm thinking like it's a little smart. If I am smart, hopefully. Nimble. I'm small and nimble. This doesn't really give me a vision of career just yet, but I have some like ideas depending on how the rest of it goes. Okay, most important stat of all time, appearance. Okay, 40. I'm not the best looking. I'm a 5. Well, no, I'm a 4. I'm a little ugly, actually. Great. Okay, intelligence. Let's get some high numbers going. Yes. Yes. This is what I was hoping for. Okay. 80. I'm pretty smart. See, that's what I wanted. I wanted I was getting really low numbers for like physical stuff, so I'm not like a athlete or anything. So I wanted at least some balance to that. So let's do my power. Okay. So that'll be 60. Thank God it's not below average. That's pretty low though. Always want a high power. Education. Oh, this is 2 dice. Oh, fuck. So I'm not the smartest though. I'm street smart. This is interesting. I don't have educational or applied knowledge. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's not the best. 50. Run of the mill type knowledge. Now does this, let's take a look at Um, uh, does it say anything about luck? It doesn't really. Not here. Does it say it in here? Strength, constitution, power, dexterity, appearance, size, intelligence, and education. No, they haven't said anything about luck. Once I've done that, go to 8. All right. The driver smokes and watches as you drag your cases to the back of the motor coach. The rack is set inconveniently high on the vehicle. You get a grip on the heavier case. I realize I'm still using second person. If your size is 40, go to 23. If your size is higher than this, okay. My size is 50, so I'm just barely higher. I had a small size. The driver continues to enjoy his cigarette, watching you with keen interest as you struggle with the cases. You grit your teeth and heave the second one into place. Perhaps the residents of Arkham will have better manners. The driver flicks his cigarette into the gutter and steps into the motor coach. Its engine coughs into life. You board, grateful that you will be the only passenger for the initial part of your trip, at least. With mixed emotions, you watch from the window as the tired avenues of your old home slip behind you, receding into the distance. For a few minutes you can see the church spire over the brow of a low hill. Then the road dips, and it too is gone. Arkham is your new home. You will travel there and make a new start. Okay, so got my half and fifth values. Let's make sure my sanity. Yep. Equal to your power. And beginning matches are the same as the value that you just assigned for your power divided by 5. So 12, yeah, that works. The coach putters through the countryside. At first, the interior is stifling, and your stomach lurches with every bend in the road. However, the driver opens his window, and by switching seats you find a spot where the breeze hits your face. You soon relax into the journey, observing the quaint little hamlets that the coach serves. A heavy-set woman boards at one settlement and gives you a polite nod. She gets off at the next one. The road rises a little, passing cornfields and orchards. The leaves are turning, and the trees are alive with glorious reds and golds. You have just begun to doze when the driver takes a tight bend at speed. Okay. Add size and con together, divide by 10, rounding down. Okay. So, 90. So 9. Okay, so that's correct on here. I also have a luck score. Okay, so this is time for luck. I was wondering when this would happen. Let's just do a roll here. Okay. Okay, 50. Now you must take... Okay. Now you must make a roll against your dex. It's the first roll of the game. Okay. I got a 65, regular success. A desperate yell awakens you. You feel yourself slide from the seat as the driver spins the wheel and the motor coach plunges off the road. You grab hold of the seat in front just in time to prevent a painful fall. The coach stops with a thump. Now you see what has happened. A Fordson tractor has stopped in the road, and your driver has had to swerve to avoid this steel obstacle. He leaps from his seat into the road, unleashing a string of curses at the farmer. You take a moment to catch your breath. Perhaps you should offer assistance. But the driver has already returned. He backs the coach up a little and threads it around the tractor, glaring at the farmer. You resume your journey. The driver takes the curves with more caution than before. He glances over his shoulder at you a couple times. Sorry about before, he says. That fella was dumber than a hog. I'm Silas. What's your name? The accident was at least as much Silas's fault as the farmer's, but it doesn't seem shrewd to antagonize the man while he's driving you through the middle of nowhere. Okay, make up a name for your character and record on your investigation sheet. You may add your age. For the purpose of the adventure, okay, between 23 and 36. I say that my name is I don't know why the name like Skip. I feel like that's a nickname. Skip is a terrible name. Hold on. Let's be an Oscar. Oscar Fellsworth. I feel like I'm young. Maybe I've worked at I'm a young journalist, perhaps, maybe. I don't know if that will be possible with my skill situation, but I'm not super well educated, but I'm smart. I'm smart. Actually, yeah. Maybe I have like a penchant for chess or something. Who knows? Because I'm not like well educated, but I'm incredibly smart. I'm trying to think of what that would mean for me. Maybe I'm like a chess champion. Is that a thing in the 1920s? I think it is. But yes. Let's get this. This is gonna get so clogged up so fast. So I'm Oscar Fellsworth. That's just the name that came to me. I don't know why. All right. I say Oscar Fellsworth. The coach turns. Oh, let's give myself age 23. I think I'm young. Male. Residence. I don't know. Somewhere south. Well, actually, now it's Arkham. That my birthplace is non-applicable. The coach turns onto a narrower road, which weaves uphill through woodland. Silas becomes chatty. Going to Arkham, eh? Can't say I ever heard of the place. Went to Boston once. Didn't like it. Too much hustle and bustle. You got family there? A special someone waiting? The afternoon is wearing on. You see no harm in confiding in Silas about your new life. A job, eh? What's your line? Okay, so now we do get options. Antiquarian. I don't think that's me. Doctor of Medicine. I don't have the education for that. Journalist could work, like I was saying. I don't think I'm a professor. Maybe I could be a private investigator. But I'd be awfully young for that. I feel like I want to go journalist. That's just where my heart is calling me. You mentioned the reporter's job, which you secured at the Arkham Gazette, on the strength of a few freelance pieces in your local newspaper. It will be a relief to get away from the vapid society columns and whimsical stories. You understand the Gazette covers everything from the breakthroughs of researchers at Miskatonic University to the most sordid exploits of local ne'er-do-wells. It should be something to get your teeth into, at any rate. A writer? For a newspaper? Silas seems confused, as if he thought the stories somehow wrote themselves. Fucking idiot. Okay, my credit score is 20%. So I just get these at these levels. I don't, oh, I see. Not credit score, it's 20. My credit rating score. My occupational skills are art, craft, photography, history, library use, own language, psychology, and one of either charm, fast talk, intimidate, or persuade. You may also pick any 2 other skills, except Cthulhu Mythos' personal specialties. Allocate the following values among your occupational skills, writing them in large square beside each. See, I don't like doing that way. I like doing it the way that you're supposed to. So, I will be a journalist, and I will assign my points, but I'm gonna do it based on what I rolled. So, occupational skills. Oh, first of all, I'm 23, so I can make an improvement check for my EDU. Yeah, just make one improvement check. So I just roll percentile. I need to get greater than 50. And easy enough, I did it. Then I add 1d10 percentage points. 3. Wow. So smart. Okay. I've determined my occupation. Oh, so I have to look at it on the actual occupations list. A journalist gets EDU times 4. Maybe I should have taken something with... Well, almost everything has EDU. I don't think there's any with int. But I'll have a lot of personal skills. So that's good. So... my EDU is now slightly higher. So I have 212 points to spend. Let's see, what do I want to? It looks like 70 will be the. I'll cater to this one shot with. I won't go above their limit, so 70% will be the highest. Which I will use though. I think for me as a journalist, I think psychology is very important to me. I think I'm a very like I rely on my people skills to like read people and like understand them. So let's add 60 points to psychology to get up to 70. in that same vein, I mean, I don't want to neglect library use, but I do think it'll be probably on the lower end of these other ones. I'm not particularly smart, so I don't think I'll do own language because I'm not like well read or anything. But I feel like library use, you do have to do like research to be a journalist. So it does need to be pretty high, and I don't think that I'm going to be a photographer at all. I think I'm just not going to do that. And then out of these ones, I'm confused if I want to go, or not confused, but I'm between charm or like fast talk or persuade. I feel like I'm a nice person. I think I'll go persuade. Persuade heavy. I think I'll add 50 to get up to 60 persuade. Very persuasive. Now I'll invest in the library use quite a bit. Library use. I'll invest 40 to get to 60. Okay. Now I have history, own language, and the photography. I don't feel like I'm going to be a photographer at all. I'm not an artist, I don't think. But maybe I should take a little bit, because you do have to take photos as a journalist. You do have to do it. Let's see. Intense. Let's do craft photography, and let's do 40 in it. 400. Holy shit. Doesn't feel good. And then history. I'll do history. Gotta have a little historical knowledge. Let's do 10 in history to bring it to 15. And then let's I have a little bit more left over. I think I will. Where's persuade? I want to be persuasive. I'll bump 10 in there, 10 more in there, and get that to 70. And now I have two more points. I'll put it in history. Or actually, what was my... Let's put it in library use. Two extra points. Okay. It's all coming together. You realize Silas hasn't made a stop since the incident with the tractor. The motor coach winds its way uphill. However, your thoughts are interrupted as the road crests a ridge, and you are treated to a magnificent view of the vista below. A creek snakes through the valley, breaking the rich autumn palette of the tree line. In the distance, the white mountains rise into hazy cloud. There is no settlement, not even a cabin, as far as the eye can see. Birds drift through the treetops, and you can just make out what might be 2 white-tailed deer lingering by the water. Perhaps you are making a mistake by moving to the city. Could you survive on your own in this lush wilderness? You have a base ability and no skills, listed in brackets. After the skill name on the investigator sheet, you, for instance, blah blah blah. Yeah. That's right. I know that. Um, Personal skills. Okay.
And again, I want to do this by the actual book because I know how to do it. Um, uh, uh, for me, because my intelligence is quite high, I think I'll be helped by this. By doing it in such a way, in such a manner. Intelligence times 2 points. Yeah. Okay. So my 160 points. Now I think I will. I think I do want to be able to like lie to people. Um, let's just do a little bit of lying. Let's just put 20 points in that. Let's be I don't think I'm very charming. I'm kind of ugly. I don't think I'm intimidating either. But I do want to be, so I think fast talk, just a little bit of fast talk, but mostly very persuasive. Um, let's I'm not sure how much it will be used. I think I'll put some points in anthropology. Let's put 20 points in anthropology. That's something I want to be able to do. Let's also do appraise. Let's do 20 in that. I don't think I'm much of an archaeologist. I like that read lips is on here. I feel like I kind of want to do that. I don't know if it'll get used at all, but let's just put 20 points in it. Honestly, I feel like I want to put some points in track because I feel like I'm like I could like stalk people. I honestly want to put a lot of points in that. No, not a lot. Let's just do 20. Raise it to 30. And going along with that, I think I want to be really sneaky. Because I got high dex. I think it just makes sense for me. Let's boost that to 40. It's 20 more points. I think maybe a slight dabble in psychoanalysis. Let's boost that to 21. And now just for my remaining one, I do have to put 20 in credit rating, I believe. Let's just make sure. Since I'm using the actual book's rules, let me look at what Journalist says. Yeah, it says 9 to 30. Let's make sure that put those 20 in credit rating. Actually, I believe that has to come from my. Well, it won't matter because it has to come from my occupational skills. I'll swap out some points here and there to get that to 20. That's all good. Okay. The motor coach rattles. Did I actually because this says boost 4 personal skills and I had 60. So yeah, I actually had less points, so it didn't help me, but that's good. I like being at a little bit of a disadvantage. It's fun. The motor coach rattles on through the hills, and Silas lapses into silence. The sky darkens behind you. pinks tinting the clouds as the sun descends. Finally, a welcome sight comes into view, a settlement on the crest of a hill. This doesn't look like the pictures you've seen of Ossipee, but perhaps you could persuade Silas to stop while you stretch your legs. Minutes later, a harsh stuttering from the engine interrupts your reverie. Silas frowns and rattles the gear stick. The motor coach falters in its ascent. Silas utters a curse you don't recognize and grinds his teeth, struggling at the wheel. You seem to inch up the hill until you reach the first buildings, low dwellings constructed from a rough red stone. Silas wrestles the coach into a small bay off the road. He scrambles from his seat and makes for the engine compartment. I must now choose to make a roll against drive auto or psychology. I will choose psychology. I will need a hard success. I think I'll... Do I have drive auto? I have 20 in drive auto, but I have way more in psychology. What's my, I need a hard success? I think I still would have a better chance with psychology. So let's go ahead and do that. That is a 26 under 70. So that is, yeah, that's a hard success. I sense a falseness in Silas's actions. He's acting. Either he is not as aggravated about the breakdown as his behavior suggests, or perhaps the breakdown itself is an act. If this is a ruse if this is a ruse to make you spend your time and money in a local shop, he will be sadly disappointed in your purchasing power. I get to check my little box next to psychology. Silas opens the engine compartment open and sticks his head inside. The hot metal pops and sizzles. He pokes at various compartments, then withdraws and wipes his brow, smearing it with dark grease. I ain't sure what's wrong. Might be the oil pressure. Might be something knocked off kilter when we took that spill. Can't do much until the engine cools neither. And with the light failing, I reckon we'll be here through the night. He wipes his hands on a rag. The shadows from the surroundings are already long, and the air is chilly. You feel stiff from the journey, and a night in the rickety coach sounds unappealing. Silas sees your dismay. This here is Emberhead, miles from any place. I only come through twice a week, but the folks here are good people. May Ledbetter keeps a spare room. She'll look after you. Up that alley, turn right, first house on the left. He scratches his cheek, looks again into the engine compartment, and spits on the ground. Meet me back here at 8 in the morning, and we'll see how we stand. I'm gonna be like, Silas, I don't know why, but I just get I don't mean to be rude, but I don't think you're being entirely honest with me about this breakdown. It doesn't seem, it's not really adding up. Something about the way that you're acting is just, you seem off to me. What's going on here? I'm gonna confront him. His brow darkens and he shows a mouthful of twisted teeth. Ain't that just like you city types, he spits, thinking the worst of a man after he's gone out of his way to attend to your comfort. He stalks around to the back of the coach and hauls your bag from the rack, dumping them on the ground at your feet. Take them. Otherwise, I guess you'll be accusing me of thievery in the morning. He marches off into the darkness, raging. That could have gone better. I drag my cases between the sullen buildings. I feel surprisingly weary considering that I've spent all day sitting down. Silas's directions lead me to a modest dwelling with a slate roof. A nameplate reads Ledbetter, and underneath A sign in neat copperplate reads lodging room. The lane around me is gloomy, but a lamp flickers in the window. A breeze chills on my face. I'm not about to begin my new life by sleeping in the street, so I rap on the weather-beaten door. After a moment, I hear footsteps inside the house. A bolt is drawn back, and the wooden door swings open. A figure with loose curls and rough-looking house dress peers at me. Her gaze takes in my traveling suit and my cases. Her voice has a slight Irish tilt, which I cannot do. Hello. Should I take it you're looking for a room for the night? I can't do it. I can't do an Irish accent. I inquire as to her rates, suppressing a grimace. As far as I've seen, the village does not offer me many alternatives. Oh, you'll find them to be quite reasonable. You look tired. I'm May. Come inside and we'll talk over a cup of tea. The Ledbetter house feels cramped, with a low ceiling and simple fittings, but it is well kept, and a cheerful fire crackles in the grate. The aroma of tea is soothing, and the cup warms my fingers. Have you come to Emberhead for the festival? Asks May. I'm gonna just explain this. So I had this coach, and I mean, it was weird that it broke down, and yeah, but it seemed like, I don't know, something was off about it. The way that it broke down, he was acting all funny, and then I confronted him, and he was all weird about it. He got real mad and shoved all my stuff on the ground. So I'm just honestly just looking for a place to stay. I don't have really many other options. May shakes her head at me, and I glimpse a moment of deep-seated anger in her green eyes. He always drives too fast. Thinks the road is made for him and him alone. He hit a mare some years back. That was a terrible thing. You should have seen the state of the coach. You'd be surprised at the damage done. She sips her tea and gazes past me into the corner of the room. With living here, though, we can't afford to antagonize the man. He's about the only link we have to the world at large. And he's not a bad soul at heart. I suppose that going the same route for 15 years makes a man careless. You have to forgive him. May goes silent for a long moment. Then her eyes flick back to me. But you don't come here to listen to me blather, and you must be hungry. I can rustle you up a bit of stew. How would that be? I ask again, so what are your rates? And May names a price so low that I accept it without hesitation. The room is small but comfortable, and the stew dark and hearty. After dinner, I have a couple of hours before my usual bedtime. I'm going to walk around outside and get my bearings. May's brow creases when I announce my intention to take a stroll. Mind how you go. Emberhead's surrounded by cliffs, and we don't have your fancy street lamps here. Take the lantern and watch your step. Outside, I see what she means. The sky is overcast, and only a few glimmers of moonlight peek through the clouds. Without the heavy lantern, I would be walking in near total darkness. I cannot hope to get an overview of the village tonight. May's street is a narrow passage, hemmed in by squat, dark dwellings. At the end, however, it opens up. A wide thoroughfare leads off to my right. A crude sign names it Silbury Street. To the left, a few yards away, my light picks up out the crooked posts of a simple fence, and beyond that, the ground drops away into darkness. I take a couple steps closer, but I can see nothing. Air from below cools my face. Then some instinct makes me look around. An ink-black figure stands in the road, about 20 yards behind me. It stares at me. I form the sudden impression that it will run at me and throw me over the cliff edge. This is unsettling. Seeing it has been spotted, the figure slips down an alley. I'm terrified. I'm gonna go back to the Ledbetter house. I flee back down the narrow street, the lantern swinging in my grasp. I reach the door and pound it urgently. May is surprised to see me back so soon. The air up here can tire you out if you're not used to it. I glance back once before they close the door. The dark figure is standing against the wall, at the end of the street, still glaring at me. Or is it? The murk may be deceiving my eyes. I slide the heavy bolt back into place. May has settled back into her chair, but now she blinks and yawns. I believe I'll turn in. When would you like your breakfast? As May stands, I hear a clunk behind me. I look over my shoulder, and all I can see is a wooden door securely closed. The young lady of the house. She'll have been listening to us. Ruth, come greet our guest. There's a short pause. Then the door creaks open. Two wide eyes peer at me from the gap between tousled hair and a rough nightgown. What do you say? The eyes blink. Pleased to meet you. Now get back to bed. The door closes again. My daughter Ruth, 10 years this summer. She's a delight and a torment all in one. Don't worry, she sleeps in with me. She'll not disturb you. Good night now. I retire to my room. It is a little chilly, but I am too tired to worry about lighting the fire. The sheets are clean, and the bed soon warms up. The silence outside is strange after living in a town for so long, but I soon drop off. I dream of fire in the grate, coruscating colors shimmering through the dancing tongues of flame. At first, they are tiny, almost microscopic, but they grow and grow until a kaleidoscope inferno spills from the fireplace, spreading across the floor, up the sheets. I wake with a start. Daylight glints through the curtains. I get up and examine the grate, blinking the sleep from my eyes. It is quite cold. If I've taken any damage... I haven't taken any damage. Oh, I could have taken damage? Yikes. May seems to have no running water, but has supplied some in a ceramic jug. I freshen up at the washstand and go in. She cooks a hearty breakfast and leaves me in a place to eat. In peace to eat. At around 7:30, I'm paid up, packed, and ready to go. I bid May goodbye, and she wishes me the best for my new career in Arkham. I succeeded a skill roll last night. I did succeed a skill roll because I succeeded a psychology check. I retrace my steps of last night. A few villagers watch with polite curiosity as I thread my way along the northern cliffs, bags in tow. In time, I think that I have found the spot. I'm interested in this, but I don't think that that's meant for me. I don't think that's meant for me. I think that the skill roll with the psychology doesn't mean anything. I think that was during the drive, maybe. I don't think that was. Don't think I was meant to see that. I'm already tired of my heavy bags. Hopefully Silas has repaired the motor coach and can resume my long journey. A sourpuss he might be, but the old driver seemed to understand his vehicle well enough. I pause to check my watch, still 20 minutes early, and round the final corner. The motor coach is gone. I put my bags down and search the area, trekking up and down the slopes around the corners. At the edge of the village, I trace the long road back as it winds across the hills. 8 o'clock comes and goes. There is no coach to be seen. A passing villager notices my bags. Looking for the bus? I heard him take off at first light. He's due back in 3 or 4 days. If you need a place to stay, May Ledbetter rents a room. The man raises his hat to you and strolls on into the village. I curse Silas under my breath, Perhaps he went for parts, but I wonder if the old goat has stranded me here on purpose. May is doing laundry and looks surprised to see me again. Forgot something? When I explain the situation, she offers to store my bags while I try to arrange alternative transport. I'm grateful to relinquish the load. Nobody here has anything like a car. She strokes her chin and narrows her eyes. Maybe you could find somebody with a horse and a cart for your bags. I could ask around later. Try Mr. Winters at the village hall. He'll know if anyone will. Or ask among the artisans. Their workshops are first left on Silbury Street. She reaches over and squeezes my wrist. Don't worry, I won't see you sleeping in the street, money or no money. I thank May, and turn to face the village. I wander the streets of Emberhead without any particular destination in mind. The village is built on a relatively flat upland with splendid views. To the north, the hazy tips of the White Mountains reach for the heavens. To the south, the sparkling waters of Lake Winnipesaukee touch the horizon. The village itself takes less than 5 minutes to cross from edge to edge. I arrived on the winding road to the west. The only other road leads to the south, following a lower ridge of land as it turns east. In the southwest of the village, an open grassy space borders a ruined church, its graveyard cresting the cliffs. To the northeast, the three main thoroughfares meet at a raised block metal structure. It looms stark against the blue sky. Wow. Okay, so I could ask about transport at the local general store. So you got the village hall. Walk down to the lower level and check out the eastern road. Examine the large metal structure. Explore the church. Look for local people with their own transport needs. I think I'll talk to locals. Yeah, I feel like that's my gig as a journalist. Not far from the Ledbetter House, on the north side of Silbury Street, there is an open courtyard. The rhythmic tattoo of a hammer seems to announce my approach. The courtyard is the busiest location I've seen yet in Emberhead. It is bordered by a ring of workshops. Some are brick buildings, some only rough huts. A blacksmith ceases to hammer, thrusting something red and glowing into a bucket of cold water. A weaver looks up from his loom, blinking at me for a moment before returning to his shuttle. A potter, engraver, and carpenter each work in their own space, exchanging friendly banter. I move among the artisans chatting about their work. Eventually, I bring up the question of export. Some of them send occasional packages with silos. Some restrict their custom entirely to villagers. I received no suggestions about alternative transport. I'm going to make a psychology roll. This is what I'm saying. This is why I built it this way. I love like having to clean up all these guys. Okay, psychology. Oof, that's bad. Oh, but I'm so good. I got a 62 under 70. I succeed. One of the workshops is shut up. When I stray close to it, the repartee between the craftspeople becomes awkward, almost forced. Interesting. A shut up workshop. That's so strange. That's weird. I almost... Okay. I may choose another option from those below. Do not repeat a choice. So I've tried 4 options, or before that. Go to 3. Okay. I honestly... Okay, I'll go to the general store. The general store is on a corner beside the main road. Just before it plunges to the south, the shopkeeper is a brisk, immense lady with a starched apron and strong shoulders. She looks hard at my unfamiliar face. Transport? There's a motor coach comes through twice a week. Missed it? Missed it? I didn't miss it. Truck brings in supplies every second Tuesday, but he's not due until next week. She shrugs. It seems Emberhead is content to keep his distance from the outside world. I have enough money to buy one or two inexpensive everyday items here. I can note them down on my investigator's sheet. Remember that the year is 1927. The shop stocks no weapons except a dusty hunting rifle, which you may purchase if you want. I think I will purchase a dusty hunting rifle. Are you kidding me? Heck yeah. Let me look this up real quick. Okay, so I was thinking about buying a 22 bolt action rifle, which makes sense for being a dusty. Actually, yeah, that would be a dusty hunting rifle, I believe. Now my credits rating is pretty damn low. My credit rating is 20. So if my credit rating is 20, I have an average wealth, which means my spending level is $10, and just the gun alone costs $13. So I think that's above my spending level. So I can't buy a dusty hunting rifle at all. So I don't really think there's anything that I want to buy. I can't see myself wanting to get anything else. So in that case, I'll just leave. Maybe buy some food or something. Who knows? I'll go to the village hall. Village Hall backs against a cliff at the east end of Silbury Street. It's the largest building I've seen so far in Emberhead. It is, however, locked and shuttered. I walk around it, peering through gaps in the shutters. There seems to be one large room, presumably for community meetings, and a smaller annex that serves as an office and archive. One of the windows is bricked up, back at the main door. I can see no one posted opening hours. Mr. Winters doesn't open up mornings this time of year, says a gray-garbed woman passing by. Best come back this afternoon. I ask whether the office has a telegraph. Don't know. She shrugs. Who would we call? I'll have to try again later. Okay. I'll go to the church, and that'll be about it. I walk across the street towards the church. As I glance to my left, my gaze alights on the large metal structure. Something bothers me about its positioning. I back up and look again. Yes, Emberhead's central thoroughfare points directly at the structure. This seems too precise to be a coincidence. I press on and draw into the shadow of the church. The building is in a sorry state. The top of the steeple is missing. A ragged gash of splintered boards marking its absence, and the floors beneath it have collapsed. It appears to have torn through the roof of the main building as it fell. Only the back half is still intact. The white paint, which once covered the church, has yellowed and peeled. It seems safe enough to explore the rear section. Old pews are stacked against the wall, choked with mildew. Most of the windows are broken. I guess this church has been disused for about 20 years. This is little more to interest you. There's little more to interest me. I can make a ride roll with a bonus die. Sure. I don't know why I am, but I can do such a thing. Ride. I don't think I will succeed. Oh, I got a 7. Spend 2 luck points. Yeah, I'll spend 2 luck points to make that a success. Because I'm using variable luck, because who doesn't? The interior smells of earth and decay, but I catch an additional distinctive whiff around the place, the scent of horses. I search around and in a dark corner find both the remnant of a hoof mark and some dry droppings. This ruined church was used as a stable, and quite recently, where are the horses now? Okay, so I've done the general store, village hall, church, and local people. So I've done 4. My morning exertions have left me hungry. I roam the streets of Emberhead looking for sustenance. There's nothing resembling the busy cafes of my hometown, or anything that might be called a restaurant. It is beginning to look like I will have to get supplies from the general store when May Letterbetter comes down the street, with a girl trailing in her wake. This must be Ruth. As she notices you, she races past her mother and approaches me with a smile. This is a different Ruth from the shy creature of last night. As she reaches me, she stops and stretches her arms up in celebration. She looks up into my eyes. Abruptly, a smile drops from her face, and she looks several years older. "Get out before the festival," she hisses. "Get out!" She blinks hard, then scuttles back towards her mother. May approaches, wrapping an arm around her daughter's shoulders. She smiles. "How are you getting on? Have you found the transport?" I'm startled, and I explain my frustrations about this situation. "I tried Mr. Winters in the village hall. He's always in of an afternoon. You'll be hungry by now. Help yourself to any food in the house. The door's not locked." I glanced at Ruth, where she had squirreled herself behind her mother's leg. Her eyes implore me to silence. I'm gonna ask. So Ruth told me that I should get out before the festival. Does that make any sense to you? Why does she want me to leave the town? She gives her daughter a hard stare. Ruth looks at the ground. May says, "Ruth doesn't like it when we have guests in the house, but she needs to learn that we don't always get what we want in life. Sometimes we have to do things we may not like, but they're necessary all the same." May shakes her head at me and then nods back in the direction of the house. I catch a hint of emotion in those green eyes. I take my leave of the Ledbetters and head towards their house. The door opens easily. In the low kitchen, I make a meal from stodgy bread and leftover stew. A little window offers a view to the mountains. If I learned one thing this morning, it was that Emberhead streets hold little to occupy the visitor from out of town. But there are still about 5 hours of daylight remaining. I could take some provisions and the bare essentials from my luggage and set out in the hopes of reaching another settlement before dark, or I could ask advice from Mr. Winters. Let's go ask Mr. Winters. Let's not just fucking walk out of town. The village hall overlooks the lower northern ridge of the village. I walk along Silbury Street to find it, conscious of the oppressive black metal structure framed at the end of the road. The shutters of the hall are open, and some windows left ajar. There is no knocker, but a little bell over the entrance tinkles as I push the front door. Ding-ling. Inside, a sturdy door to my right is marked pirate. To your left, an opening leads through to a bright room. I take a few steps inside. Benches line the walls, and there are 2 notice boards mounted between the windows. Let's look at the notice boards. The floorboards creak beneath me as I cross the room. I feel a slight spring in my step. Perhaps this room is used as a gymnasium for village children. One notice board appears to be for the adults of the community, and one for the children. The former looks neglected, featuring handwritten advertisements for household items and a yellow note about telegraph pricing. There is nothing about the festival. The children's notice board has a schedule for weekly creche services and a number of paintings Crochet. Is this crochet? Is it how you spell that? Am I stupid? I don't know what this word means. And a number of paintings obviously done by the children themselves. Most are incoherent, though colorful. As best as I can tell, they depict fireworks, and perhaps the tale of Joseph from the book of Genesis. One has lost a pin and hangs upside down. It shows a giant bird attacking Emberhead. Or it might simply be that the artist has not yet mastered the subtleties of scale. I can make a spot hidden. Excuse me. Did I put anything in spot hidden? No. Why, I put a little. Not a lot. That's an idiot take. Idiot, especially for a journalist. Amateur hour, Call of Cthulhu. And I got a 94. Almost a fumble. Not that that would matter, I don't think. What the? Oh, whoops, it's the wrong one. I fail. The door scrapes behind me. A middle-aged, bespectacled gentleman appears in the doorway. May I help you? I explain that I'm visiting on May Ledbetter's recommendation. Ah, well, I'm Clyde Winters. I'm not sure I can help you, but would you care for some coffee? I'm partial to a cup in the afternoon. He gestures to the open door behind him. It seems like a worthwhile opportunity, and I am a little thirsty. I am a little thirsty, though. Sure, yeah, I guess I am. I step through the door marked private. The other side of the village hall is in marked contrast to the public space. The room is compact, lined with shelves of books and file alcoves. One corner is reserved for a tiny pantry, and what is presumably a water closet. I study Mr. Winters as he fills the percolator. Although thin on top, his hair is oiled and neatly swept back. His suit is a sober affair, and well-tailored even if the cut is a little old-fashioned. A lesser man working alone might have loosened his bow tie for comfort. On the desk against the opposite wall, I notice what looks like a telegraph set. Yeah, I'm going to ask about the telegraph set immediately. The telegraph? Much as we value our isolation, we do need the link sometimes. You were hoping to send a message? I must apologize. The line has been down for 2 weeks. Of course. I reported the fault, but, of course, they're not so speedy when the problem lies in a rural area. I'm expecting a repair the day after next. I do appreciate how frustrating this must be. The coach is due in, 3 days? But I think he's going west. Perhaps he might engage a wagon. One of the farmers might. I explain that I have asked a few of the residents already, but to no avail. I tell you what. Winters pours me a steaming cup of coffee. The dark liquid smells rich and strong. When the repair crew arrive, I'll ask them to take you back with them. How would that be? They might want $1 or $2 to grease the wheels. The day after tomorrow, it's less than ideal, but it's the first real opportunity I've had. Yeah, I'll take that. As the light fades, I return to the Ledbetter house and eat a light supper. May is unusually taciturn. Ruth's eyes flick to mine several times during the meal. There is an urgency there that I can't quite interpret. Afterwards, May ushers the girl into their room. I've been in Emberhead for barely one whole day, and I already feel confined by it, both geographically and socially. The evening seems to offer little. I think I'm gonna speak to Ruth. In time, May returns to the kitchen and busies herself clearing up. To speak to Ruth, I will need to get May to leave for a short while. I help with the dishes and try to think of some ruse. In time, an idea comes to me to ask about Silas and his friends in the village. May narrows her eyes. He knows Troy's on the other side of town, she says. Not sure I'd call them friends. More like an old feuding couple. as he probably spent last night at Troy's place. I asked May if she could visit Troy, and asked if Silas mentioned any plans to return. May looks dubious. Right now? Without looking at my investigator sheet. Okay, let's block it out. Don't look. Decide how best to influence May. By appealing to her emotions, by explaining how further delay threatens my career, or by trying to rush her into compliance. Then make a charm, persuade, or fast talk roll, respectively. If I succeed, okay. I'm gonna say, look, I'm here for work. I need any second that I'm delayed. I'm my job is expecting me to get there. The longer I spend here, the more time that they think less of me, and I want to make a good impression. So it threatens my career to stay here. So I'm just hoping that there's some urgency right now. I hope you understand. Okay, so I didn't look at my sheet. I didn't need to because I really built the character around doing this specific stuff. So yeah, maybe I metagamed, but it's like not even metagaming. It's just I built him to be persuasive. 35. That's a regular success. Well, I suppose it will only take a few minutes. May fetches a coat and heads out into the night. I give her time to get clear, then rap on the bedroom door. Nothing comes but silence. Then feet pad across the floor, and the door opens a few inches. Ruth's eyes stare through the gap, glancing from left to right. I explain, "Your mother has left the house. Please, tell me what's bothering you." Those eyes flick up to stare at me. "It's tomorrow. Same as every year. They took my dad. They'll take you, if you let them." The conviction in her eyes is chilling. "What are you talking about? Who are you talking about?" "All of them. Every one. They've been watching since you got here. You're marked. 1 year. When I'm older, they'll take me." I hear footsteps approaching from outside. Ruth's eyes flash, and the bedroom door slams. I turn back to drying the dishes. May enters and removes her coat. "That man is a waste of time," she hisses and heads through to the bedroom. I keep you okay. That was persuade, so I get a box. The familiar surroundings of my guest room are becoming constrictive. The neat bed, small wardrobe, and dressing mirror have the feel of a prison cell about them. What am I doing here in Emberhead? My new life is elsewhere. I lie on the bed and stare at the small crack in the ceiling. I turn over the day's events, thinking about the little details I've spotted. I'm certainly weary from the elevation and the fresh air, but do I feel safe here? I'm gonna stay awake. I don't feel safe. Sleep presses down on me. I blink it back and sit up, trying to think through the situation. Everything in Emberhead seems to be working to stop me from leaving. Perhaps the answer is to strike out at first light, to walk as far and as fast as I can. I can always return for my possessions, and if I lose them, I have nothing so precious that it could not be replaced. A tiny creak draws my attention to the other side of the room. Slowly, almost silently, the doorknob is turning. Oh, shit. I pretend to be asleep. I slide into bed and lie on my side, eyes closed. The hinges creak as the door opens. There's a long pause. A footfall sounds inside the room, then another. The steps are careful and feminine. I give it a moment, then open one eye, a crack. May crouches with her back to me. She is fiddling with something in the fireplace. Just wait. After a few moments, May glances around to you, or to me. Then I hear a soft scratch of a match being lit. She applies it to something in the grate and tiptoes from the room. Once I hear her bedroom door, I creep to the grate. A small mound of black powder, no bigger than a thimble, is burning there. It gives off heady fumes. Make a hard science botany roll. Otherwise, I may extinguish the powder and go to sleep, or stay awake through the night, or I may relax and breathe the fumes out of curiosity. Well, first I'm going to try this science botany roll. Actually, whoops. I don't know if I can roll that. Maybe. Art, craft. I mean, sciences. Is there any minimum? Is there a 1% minimum to these? Okay, I'm going to look this up real quick. Okay, so yes, each of these, I'll do science, botany, has a base 1% chance. Let's just go crazy and roll. It doesn't matter, because half of 1 is 0, and you would need hard success. So, actually, I could roll a 1 and get a critical and succeed. So let's just try. Holy, that's 100. So that would be a fumble, but there's no fumble option in this because it's a solo scenario. Never mind. Actually, honestly, just for fun, I think because I fumbled, I think that I'm just stupid and I want to sniff the fumes out of curiosity. I think that's what the fumble is. I think I'm like, what is this? And I get really close and breathe it in. I drift awake in the morning light. The sun is already high, but I do not feel well rested. I find myself preoccupied with little details. I find myself preoccupied with little details in the room, the wood grain of the door jamb, or a chipped handle on the wardrobe. As I swing out of bed, my stomach gives a lurch, and I lean too far over, nearly tumbling to the floor. I blink for a moment. Perhaps I have an illness coming on. I get carefully to my feet. The air in the room is heavy and fragrant. I stare out of the window until I feel steady enough to leave. My skill rolls today suffer a penalty. Roll the 10 percentage dice twice and take the higher result. This does not apply luck, sanity, or damage rolls. Okay. I'll keep that up. The Ledbetter kitchen is empty, although bread and eggs have been laid out for my breakfast. There's a note from May explaining that she has taken Ruth out for a few hours. If I was involved in a fight in the village last night, I want to investigate the aftermath. I was not involved in a fight. I make a quiet circuit of the village, pausing in unobtrusive places to watch the villagers. It is rather busy for this time of morning. Yawning locals stream back and forward along the roads, carrying bundles of split logs to the site of what I've already referred to as the beacon. I see 2 figures already up in its superstructure arranging the wood. The festival bonfire will be most impressive. But do I intend to stay here to see it? I suspect by now that something is amiss here. While the villagers are distracted, you may do some illicit investigation, or I may simply leave town without looking back. Excuse me. I think I'm curious about the beacon. I'm curious about it. The northern side of the village is bustling, and I am unlikely to remain hidden there for long. I head in the direction of the church and then move up the east side behind the houses. A drop looms on my right. One particular section of ground is quite narrow, and I have to hug the building for support. I give this approach up. To proceed, I need to compare my size to my dex. If your dex is higher, it for sure is. If my size is higher, make a size roll if I succeed. Okay, well, I don't need to make a size roll. I think I'm good. The turf sinks beneath my feet and stones crumble from its edge. Alarmed, I grip the building and ease myself forward. Finally, I have a good spot to watch the beacon. I lie concealed in the grass and watch the activity around the beacon. Villagers bring in yet more bundles of tinder and stack them in neat piles. Another shift passes the bundles up to a pair of men standing on the raised platform of the beacon. They are constructing a triangular structure resembling a gigantic campfire. As I watch, I am struck by the manner of the laborers. This is their festival. I would expect a cheerful atmosphere and some lighthearted conversation, yet the faces of some show resignation and detachment, others a naked dread. I watch for a good half hour before I slip away. I don't like that one bit. I feel a deepening unease about Emberhead, and this day in particular. I think I will do one more look. I think I'm going to go in May Ledbetter's bedroom. She's very sus to me. Despite her hospitality, I do not trust May Ledbetter. I return to her house quite openly. Where else would you go? Where else would I go? Inside the dwelling is still empty. I rap on the bedroom door and wait. Silence. I ease it open. The Ledbetter bedroom is in marked contrast to my own neat space. Dirty clothes are piled about the floor. On a rough quilt lie schoolbooks and cheap novels. I notice a raggedy old doll, discarded, down the side of the bed. Spot hidden. I should have made that higher. Okay, that's a fail. I go through the Ledbetter's drawers. The only item of interest to me that I find is a wedding photograph. May's husband was a wiry man with a square chin. Despite the formality of the pose, I can see that the affection between them. I feel a pang of guilt at my intrusion. Also, May might return at any time. I want to push. Oh, and you know what? Let's okay. That's better, but it doesn't matter. Just to see if I fumbled. I want to push. I think I will push. I need to, and I have to remember that penalty die, which I rolled and didn't make a difference. But let's push. Let's just go for it. This might end in a confrontation or something. And I have so low. I should have invested in spot hidden. Let's just do it. Okay. 47. That's way too high. You can't spend luck on a push. So, I failed. A shadow falls across me. So, May Ledbetter says, you know. I try to get to my feet. A mob of villagers spills from behind her and surrounds me. I struggle, but I cannot resist the sheer weight of their numbers. I am quickly overpowered. The fading light from a narrow window tells me the afternoon is giving way to evening. My hands are shackled behind my back, so I cannot even lie down on the rough bed. A woman I have not seen before comes in. Her face is wrinkled and her eyes dull. They do not meet mine. And she puts a cup to my lips. Reject. I turn my face away, and she tries again. I dash the cup from her hands using the side of my head. The clear liquid spills across the floor. The woman gives a half shrug and turns to leave the room. I shout after her, "What the hell?" But she gives no reaction. I soon become thirsty. As light fades outside, my little prison becomes dark. I can hear much activity around the building. Occasionally, an orange glow passes the window. The only comfortable position in the shackle seems to be to sit against the end of the bed with my arms hanging behind me. I need to concentrate and come up with a plan. There's clearly no escape from my bonds. I do not know exactly what my captors want from me, but I cannot ignore the fact that they have spent the entire day constructing a massive bonfire. I can't ignore that. The door scrapes, wrenching me back into the moment. Orange light spills into the house from blazing torches held at the threshold. 2 large villagers step in and grab me. At least, I assume they are villagers. They wear heavy black cloaks, and their faces and hands are painted entirely black, save only for a red triangle centered on their left eye. I try to drag my legs, but they reach under my arms and lift me bodily from the bed. Outside, it seems that the whole village has congregated to see me. Every single one has a blackened face with the red triangle motif. Torches sputter and spill fire. I struggle, but I can see physical resistance is hopeless. I march to the central street and turn to face the beacon. Jeez. Okay. The procession down the approach is slow and formal, save when I sense weakness and yank at my captors. A chill touches me when I see 3 human shapes carried ahead of me, draped in red cloth. The beacon looms larger and larger, its dreadful silhouette a black triangle pointing to the stars. A low drone begins among the cloaked figures. Unbidden, the word mourners comes to mind. Smoke from their torches makes me cough. I feel heat on my face. As I reach the cleared area around the beacon, 3 dancers break from the pack. Young girls swinging balls of fire in spectacular arcs, drawing circles in the night air. One by one, they draw close to me and touch my forehead with sooty fingers. Each kisses me 3 times, on the left cheek, right cheek, then forehead. Then they whisper in my ear. The smell of kerosene fills my nostrils. Make an appearance roll. Appearance! Okay. I have a penalty die from the smoke. Okay. Holy shit, I'm not even kidding. I rolled 2 double zeros on both my penalty die and my regular 10th place die, and a 4. Extreme success. Extreme success. I succeed, yeah. Even though I'm ugly. I just got that charm about me, I guess. Through your sacrifice, the village will be reborn, says the first dancer. You pass from earth to air for all our sakes, says the second. I've weakened the chains, says the third. Don't try to escape until the flames are high enough to hide you. I stare at the third dancer. In that inky visage, I clearly discern the frightened features of Ruth Ledbetter. Their dance weaves off and disappears behind the buildings. As I arrive beneath the beacon, 10 villagers close in on me. Working with surprising coordination, they immobilize me and lift me up the blackened iron stairs to the raised platform. I cannot help but shiver at the sight of the central framework, twisted from past blazes, and what I can see now clearly see to be fastening points for chain. None of the eyes meet mine as they lash me to the metal. The village sings now, something rhythmic and ancient, carved from old syllables. A second group ascends to the beacon, carrying the 3 red-draped bodies. With reverence, they arrange their burdens in a triangle around my feet. Then they withdraw, leaving me alone with the dead, shin deep in a sea of kindling. It seems the entire village is gathered around the beacon to watch me burn. Beneath the face paint, I recognize May Ledbetter, and yes, that is Silas, the coach driver, standing at her side. The audacity and scale of the deception staggers me. A man steps up on a dais and raises his hands with quiet authority. The frame of his spectacles obscures the red triangle on his face. So we draw here together again on this night, as we do each year, and we give thanks to the one who will preserve the village against the fire of the void. You will be taken by the ones from above in our stead. Your death will bring life to our streets and bounty to our fields. It will safeguard our children and our elders alike for another year. We salute you. He bows his head. All around the beacon, bearers step forward and lift their torches to the edge of the raised platform. A ring of tiny flames flicker up around the perimeter. As they wink, the singing of the villagers drops into an unearthly rhythm. To throw all my remaining strength against the bonds. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm tired, and my flesh ought to be insufficient against the dark iron of chains. Yet I can feel them give a little. There's a weakness in one of the links. Make a hard strength roll. Motherfucker. This penalty die, I'm screwed. It's because I fumbled and I made that decision. I made a story decision to relax and sniff the fumes based on the fumble that I didn't have to do, and now I'm suffering. Hard strength. I'd have to get two below 20s. And a 0. No, it's not happening. The flames snake across the kindling, catching and rising. Smoke rises and it becomes difficult to see the villagers. The three bodies surrounding me catch fire, blazing with sooty red flames. I begin to cough as the smoke enters my lungs and fight down the urge to panic. If I've learned a strange chant and wish to try it, this is the moment. Otherwise... Yeah, I have not learned a strange chant. Silly. The flames snake across the kindling. Oh yeah, whoops. I just closed the wrong one. The flames lick at my legs. My eyes water. I'm shrouded in smoke. It might be my imagination, but I think I can feel a slight give in the chains. I throw myself against them, giving no thought to how they bite into my wrists. I can take 1d6 points of damage. Holy shit. 6! Okay. That's more than half my hit points. Otherwise, make a strength roll. And this will be, again, penalty die. 48. I'm going to spend 8 luck to make that a success. Desperation lends me strength, and I yank at what I guess to be the weak point of the chains. It breaks. I throw the chain off, stumbling across one of the red-shrouded corpses, heading away from the watching villagers. I cough. My hair and eyebrows smolder. I take another 1d6 damage. 3. This reduces me to 0. I'm collapsed and burned to death. The end. Let's imagine if I rolled a 1, and let's say I even rolled a 2, and I'm on 1 hit point, and let's see what happens. Otherwise, I would just fucking die. I leap from the conflagration on the far side of the beacon. My heart lurches momentarily at the sight of the sheer drop beneath me, and I land a few inches short of the edge. I roll to extinguish my burning clothes. My lungs feel singed. Everything hurts. The chant of the villagers gathers in intensity. I peer around the beacon. They don't seem to have noticed my absence amidst the billowing smoke. Most of them are staring into the sky. I crawl as rapidly as I can for the cover of the nearest building. When the villagers assembled at the beacon, the streets are empty, and I am able to pad away from the blaze. I must get out of town before they finish. The chanting seems to accelerate as I round the corner of the southern road. Here, parked against the side of the general store, I have my first piece of luck since reaching Emberhead. A bicycle. I learned how to ride one in Providence. I settle into the saddle. My burned flesh protests at the contact. Right out of town immediately. It takes a moment to recapture the skill of riding the bicycle, but after the first turn to the east, there is a long downhill out of Emberhead. I hear the screams and crackles above me, but concentrate on balancing and working the pedals in my weakened state. I've had too many hopes dashed in this abomination of a village. I keep my head down and ride away. 20 minutes later, with no signs of pursuit, I stop for a breather at the top of the hill. I can see Emberhead rise in the distance. The entire village appears to be ablaze. The dark column of smoke above it will be visible for many miles. But if the village is as isolated as it seems, help is unlikely to arrive in time. I watch the place burn for 5 minutes. Then I mount the bicycle again and ride towards civilization and dawn. I didn't survive, but I just wanted to see how this ends. Congratulations, you have survived this adventure. Yeah, I can't use it in another... I did actually die. I would be able to roll for improvements on some skills, but I did die. I did burn alive. And that's the end. My thoughts? It was okay. I think that I probably didn't discover all the cool things it could have. I definitely should have invested in Spot Hidden as a journalist. That was stupid. I don't know why I didn't do that. But overall, okay scenario. I don't think it really... I also, with the health thing, I feel like I should have taken a major wound or something, or done something there. Or like rolled con to not go unconscious. But it wouldn't have made a difference. I died anyway. I don't feel like... yeah, it was okay. 7 out of 10. The end.